There are a lot of questions that survivors have when it comes to learning about narcissism and their own personal experience. Questions like, well, if it's over between us, who are they with now? Does this person have something I don't? The narcissist's new supply is something I think all of us have thought about at least once. In this video, that's exactly what I want to talk about, answering the most burning questions having to do with the narcissist and their new supply. Hi there and welcome back. My name is Jess. If this is your first time here and you want to learn about narcissistic abuse, start now by subscribing. I invite you to come join myself and lots of other survivors on my weekly live stream where I host Q&A sessions every Saturday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you'd like to talk privately about your personal experience, you can send an email to bookachatwithjess@gmail.com to inquire about my rates and appointment times. If you'd like to support what I do here on the channel, please consider joining the Survivors Army. Doing so gives you early access to my videos as well as exclusive videos just for channel members. You can click join just below the video to do that, or there is a link for you down in the video description. Question number 1. Who the hell is the new supply anyway? Well, more than likely, it's somebody that you don't know. One of the worst things that can happen for a narcissist is to be exposed as what they really are. Therefore, they do generally like to choose new people who we don't know anything about. It makes things a lot easier for them. Whether the new supply knows you or doesn't, you will have a smear campaign run on you to this new person. The narcissist needs to convince the new supply that you're crazy, jealous, psychotic, needy, you were the liar, the cheater, the thief, so on and so forth. This makes the new supply discredit you, write you off as being a nutcase before they even talk to you, just in case they do know you or in case you do try to reach out to them. They're not going to believe anything that you say because they are very quickly ushered in and brainwashed by the narcissist. Now, there are some narcissists who do choose people very close to their last victim. I personally believe this is far less common, but I have to say it because every time I don't, it seems to get pointed out to me in one way or another. So even though this is a generalized list, I'm going to say here, not all narcs are created equal. Ha! So there you go. Take some things that I say with a grain of salt. Don't believe everything you hear on the internet. And this is coming from a weirdo on the internet. Don't do it. Number 2. How long has this new supply been around anyway? It's really curious, isn't it? That mere weeks or even days later, you see somebody new on their social media or you hear through friends or family there's some new fucking blooming romance. Well, that's because 9 times out of 10, this person is not as new as we think they are. They're not as new to the narc as they are to us and us knowing about them. They've been in the picture before we were discarded. Most of the time, not only was this person around, the only time they weren't is maybe if you suddenly ditch the narc and they don't have a full-blown source of new supply to hop over to. However, even if you do walk away with no warning and they don't have someone to jump to right away, they do still have a harem full of people. So they just suck one of those people in while they begin their hard target search for somebody new. There's always more than one person in the life of a narcissist romantically. Never for a second think that just because they weren't coming home later, not coming home at all, or whatever the case is, that there wasn't something more going on. Some narcissists hide things incredibly well, and sometimes they're not even having full-on, perhaps, sexual affairs. There are a lot of emotional affairs, just chatting with someone to get money, attention, ego boosts, and the like, or maybe just setting up a plan, figuring out what this person is like. Can they possibly be new supply? Would they be able to jump to this person? In this community, the act of hanging on to us while reaching out for new supply is called monkey branching. They never want to let go of us and move forward until they're sure that this new person and situationship that they've created can kind of hold some water and stand some ground a little bit. The new person just seems to come in so quickly because they've already been pre-screened by the narcissist as we were packing our shit and being told to get out. Number 3, why did the narcissist pick this person? They are nothing fucking like me. Well, this can happen for a number of reasons. So what I want to do here is I want to briefly mention a few little topics here that some people might find dark, disturbing, or triggering. This is not done to hurt anybody, nor is this done to purposely offend anybody. So I want to leave a warning here that for maybe the next 30 seconds or so, shit is going to get super real right here. So I haven't talked a lot about this for that reason, but lots of people in this community make comments about narcissists and sexuality. This sounds weird. I know. Stay with me. A lot of survivors think that narcissists struggle with bisexuality or possibly homosexuality. Now, I don't think that there's a struggle here at all. I think these folks will take attention from anybody. It does not matter if it is male or female. Just like rape really doesn't have a whole lot to do with sex. Rape is about power, control, feeling superior. They're going to overpower somebody, getting that ego boost, things like that. With that kind of information and knowledge, I believe that the connection can be made, that it's all about who gives the narcissist what they want, and it has little to do on who the person really is, what they do, what they look like. It's can they give me what I want, and how fast can I get it? For example, you see the narcissist on social media with the new supply, and let's say they're a brunette, but you're a blonde. The narcissist really couldn't fucking care less because maybe this person has money or a place for them to live, or maybe this person has wooed the narcissist and taken them on trips and shown them some kind of lavish lifestyle, or you see or hear through the grapevine that the new person is heavier than you or thinner than you. Again, this doesn't really matter. It's who is providing attention, the ego boost, the praise, the whatever it is that they're looking for. Maybe you have money and the new person seems, okay, I'm trying not to be mean here, but like they're broke as fuck, okay? So money must not be their main goal right now, or they have somebody else, another form of supply, who is taking care of them financially. Again, remember what I say in so many videos, they have different sources going on with people who give them different things. True, the primary supply does typically take care of them financially, but they're really not super sexually motivated by the primary supply. Doesn't mean they won't have sex with you. They're just having sex with like a lot of other people too. So that's something to really keep in mind. And another thing to keep in mind is this might also be what's called a downgrade. It means the narcissist can't find good supply right now. So this person has been settled on because something's better than nothing. This is usually what happens when you walk away and you just kind of leave them in the dust and they're like, oh, what the fuck? They have to scramble and then they get a downgrade. Something not as good is what they're really looking for, but it's like, oh, well, this is like the appetizer before the main course. I know it's terrible to talk about people like that, but we have to talk about it the way that they think about it. Kind of helps us go, oh, that's gross. I don't like that. And we'll stay away from these people. I believe we all have a quote unquote type of person that we're attracted to. Tall people, short people, blonde people, brunette, whatever. And I used to believe that narcissists didn't have a type, but I now kind of think of it more as, they do have a type, but that can be completely overruled if they meet somebody with that criteria that they're looking for. Really terrible, piss poor example here, but let's say that they, it's a female narc and she only likes, blonde haired dudes, but she meets a guy who's a brunette or foxy redhead. And she's kind of like, nah, but she's money motivated. And the dude has a lot of money. She's going to throw that, well, he's not blonde thing right out the window because he has money. So I believe that they all have a type. I believe we all have preferences, but they can get overruled because of the narcissist's selfishness and greed, essentially. Keep in mind, this new person and why they were chosen, honestly, it really matters just so very little. We have to focus on ourselves and getting healed so that we can make better selections in the future. Number 4, the narcissist has been with this new person, this new supply, longer than they were with me. So holy fuck, I guess I was the problem, right? So this is where I have to answer a question with a question. And I need an answer here. So I'm going to get a little inquisitive. When in the hell did time equal happiness? I know I've said this before. I was in my living hell for 18 months. If he finds somebody new and he's with her for 2 years, what the fuck does that even mean? Who cares? Is he happier with that person? No, this person's just putting up with more bullshit. Is he treating that person better? No, I know who he is. I know what kind of person he is. The person is probably more brainwashed than we were. The person might be giving the narcissist a place to live. So maybe the narcissist is trying to hang on longer. And here's the really, really super important part. Let's say they do move on and they find new supply and they get married and pop out babies. And it really is this fucked up, twisted, happily ever after for them. Cool. It's not you. That new person is not you. The narcissist that you were dealing with in your life was shitty to you and you did nothing to deserve it. All of a sudden, some magical person is going to come along. Why do narcissists leave in the first place? Because we figure out too much. They get bored, they're tired of it, and they peace out. All of a sudden, this new person, they've gone through so many people to get to you, but all of a sudden this is going to change now for this new person? No, absolutely not. And time does not measure happiness. Along the same lines, like I was saying, we seem to think if they get married that this is some kind of a thing. I have to debunk this. Narcissists marry who they think they have to marry. They marry for money or looks, or because society seems to think that they should be married. Maybe they're in their 30s and it's like, holy shit, this is looking kind of weird now because I'm not married. They want a long-term, person to abuse, because once you get married, it's harder to kind of break up that kind of a relationship. They don't marry for love or commitment or happiness, or marriage means nothing to them. Honestly, none of this means anything. It is stuff that we focus on way too hard when we're trying to look for answers after things are all said and done. Like with everything else in their lives, they do what they have to do to keep themselves afloat and get as much from people as they possibly can. Number 5, is this relationship the narcissist is in with this new person gonna last? Again, it doesn't matter. They can marry New Supply and be around for 20 years. My mom was married to my dad, a full-blown dickhead narcissist, for 18 years. So what? She got cheated on relentlessly. Smear campaigns were run on her and myself when I was just a teenager. I was severely emotionally abused to fuck and back. So what does it matter if they're together for 20 years? Who cares? That's stuff, that we don't have to, don't envy that. Don't envy time with a shitty person. No, that's not the correct way to think about this. Number 6, why am I so obsessed with this new person in the narcissist's life? A lot of survivors obsess over this. Literally why I'm making this video. So don't feel alone. I did the same thing too. So definitely don't feel alone. It's really easy to look at the new person and say, oh, well, this person must have things that I don't have. We pull ourselves apart, compare and contrast, take our own inventory, get really down and negative on ourselves, and we do these really unhealthy things. Most of us, like 99.999%, have no closure after the relationship ends with somebody toxic. Even if we're the ones who walk away, it doesn't matter. We are still looking for answers because we're in a state of, wow, what the fuck just happened? We obsess over what we don't have answers to, regardless of what it is. But with enough research into this disorder, though, I think that is where we find a lot of our answers. Sometimes we also need to sit down and talk to ourselves and have one of those super fucking uncomfortable one-on-ones. We're smart. We know the truth. We know there was lying. We know there was infidelity. We know there was a lack of love. We know there was a lack of feelings, intimacy, vulnerability, truth, devotion. We know this person has done us a favor by leaving and moving on, or we've done ourselves that solid and we've gotten the fuck out of there. I truly believe we obsess when we won't accept. I find myself clinging to research, looking for answers, and spending hours in therapy talking about things I already have the answer to, and I just refuse to accept it for what it is. I keep needing to rehash it and beat the dead horse, looking for proof of A, B, C, proof of X, Y, Z. I already have the answer. I refuse to accept what it is. And it is anything but easy, but incredibly necessary. We know the truth, and it's time we accept it for what it is. Now, I'm sure I didn't hit every burning question as far as the New Supply goes, but I have a whole playlist on my channel dedicated to talking about the New Supply, so check that out. I'll toss it at the end of the video. If I remember, down in the description. I probably won't remember, but very hot topic. I do revisit this from time to time, so expect more videos on the way every now and then that talk about it, but I again have lots of other videos in the playlist. I believe it's just called The New Supply. You can check that out. Please throw a like on the video. It is quick and painless on your end and really helps me out. Please share the video or hell, any of my content if you think somebody might find it useful. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't for more information on narcissistic abuse and recovery every single week. Have a great day, survivor. and take care of yourself.